Alright, so forgive my wandering eyes. It's never going to get used to talking to the top of my phone. I know I look all over the place, and I tend to look out of my garage and not at my phone, but you get what I'm saying. So, today is Tuesday. I'm getting a later start than I want, which I think I say that every day. Because I get up early enough, I just don't get out here. And today I should have, because I have a massage and stretch session today. Oh, so good. And so overdue. But anyway, day 2 of the American Cancer Society's 62,000 meter row challenge, whatever you want to call it. And I'm very grateful to have about $200 worth of donations already. So thank you to those who have donated. I'm gonna do my best and try to blow this thing out of the water within 2 weeks. So probably not today, because today is leg day. I have learned something about myself when it comes to leg day. I enjoy the pain in the moment. I don't enjoy the DOMS, and if you don't know what DOMS is, I'll talk more about that another time. Probably tomorrow or the next day when I'm really experiencing it. But when I injured my foot back in early July, the first thing I thought was I can't do my squats and deadlifts for a while. I got to give my foot a little bit of a break. No pun intended. I had a little bit of a break. So I haven't done any squats or deadlifts since then, and I think it's been about 3.5 weeks, and I know that I'm going to pay for it, because that's what I was starting to say a moment ago. I have learned that when I skip leg day, which nobody should ever skip leg day, when I skip leg day, I really pay for it. Really pay for it. I don't know what to expect blood sugar wise, because often on leg day, that's the day I also choose to have as a kind of a free meal, I like to call it. I don't call it a cheat meal. I feel like all my meals are cheat meals, even when I'm not cheating and I'm losing weight. And people would say, "What the hell?" But trust me. Leg days, excuse me. I have to very carefully monitor my insulin intake, and more often than not, I still go low during the night after leg day. Low for me is under 70. If you're not a diabetic and haven't experienced that, you don't know what that feels like. To be honest, sometimes it doesn't feel like anything. Sometimes you don't feel it at all. I was in the low 70s last night, and may in fact have gone under 70 at some point. I didn't sleep well, but I didn't necessarily think that that's what was waking me up. So anyway, I'm kind of all over the place here. So leg day sometimes turns into low sugar day, which is a good thing. I mean, if your exercise is accomplishing the goal of reducing your blood sugar, then okay, then there you go. So leg day today. I wouldn't normally want to do it on a day where I'm going to see the massage and stretch therapist, but it's been so long, and I kind of hate to do it the day after the session. So yeah, the longer I put it off, the worse the following day is going to be, I'm sure. So I have already decided that we are going to back off the weight considerably. I was trying to push towards a 300-pound squat and a 300 or 400-pound deadlift. Was getting pretty close on the deadlift and was making good progress on the squat. Considering the fact that after my most recent foot surgery, which has been about 3 years now, I kind of lost track there for a while. Yeah, I think it's been about 3.5 years. I asked because I'm an idiot and I shouldn't have asked about restrictions. And of course, the doctor's not an idiot, but he's also not an exercise physiologist. And he told me to use pain as my guide, which is smart. That's what more doctors should say. But then he put specifics on it. Probably asked for some specific guidelines when it comes to squats and deadlifts. And he said, which I'm curious now what the scientific basis was, nothing over 50 pounds. 50 pounds! That's what I said on the inside. 50 pounds? I always relate squats and deadlifts to body weight. And trust me, 50 pounds is not a big percentage of my body weight. Currently, it's about 16% of my body weight. Anyway, I have taken that as a personal challenge. However, I also have enough intelligence and experience when it comes to my feet to know that it's not always worth chasing those squat and deadlift numbers if I can't walk comfortably. Really, not even comfortably. Sometimes my foot just flat out hurts. And I'm sure that tomorrow I will wake up and my foot will be swollen, as it is most mornings, and it'll be uncomfortable, as it is most mornings. Just a quick history, very quick, of my feet. So here's the story. I was training for a race that the inaugural race was in February of 2012. And it was a duathlon, which means you run and then you bike and then you run again. This particular race was called the 222. 2-mile run, 20-mile bike, 2-mile run. And it was supposed to be, for most people, the kickoff to multi-sport season. Multi-sport being triathlons. But I don't swim. So I have my one triathlon under my belt, but I was looking for races that did not require any swimming after that. And I found one. Actually found more than one. I did several, but this one in particular was a little longer, both in the run and the bike. And of course, the run happens twice. So I was quite pleased to find this race, and in spite of the fact that it was an extremely cold day in the mid-February, in the, I'm going to say it was sub-freezing. It might have been pretty damn close to freezing, if not in the 20s. And I didn't do so good. I wasn't pleased at all with my performance, and in spite of the fact that I felt like I was pretty prepared for it, I did not do well, I guess, in my preparations. At that point, I still was drinking an insane amount of water, not realizing that I was doing more harm than good by not replacing the salts, and so I quite often would end up dealing with cramps. And on that day, the cold didn't help, and the exertion didn't help, and by the time I was done, I could hardly stand up. The cramps had moved up my legs and into my groin. Yes, my groin was cramping. That was real fun. And all I could think about when the race was over was French fries. And I think it was just my brain saying, we need carbs and we need salt. And I stopped at Red Robin on the way home. And if you don't know, they have bottomless fries and they're not bad. I mean, they're bad, but they're not bad. So anyway, knowing that race would be about the same time next year, and that I had a year to better myself for it, I was training. And it was getting closer anyway. It was mid-October. And I went out for a 2-mile run and a 25-mile bike. Because of the cramps, I was wearing compression sleeves on my legs, on my calves, which was normal for me at the time. Um, and I actually drove to Furman University, parked my vehicle, got my bike out, ready, put the bike back in, put the running shoes on, and took off. And if memory serves correctly, which sometimes with numbers it does tend to lock in on a specific number, I was at 0.76 miles when I heard it. I heard the crack in my foot. Now, I had some pain leading up to this that I suspected might have been a stress fracture. Being athletic most of my life, I had dealt with stress fractures before. Having a mother who too frequently put me in shoes that didn't necessarily fit me well sometimes contributed to that. But anyway, so I knew with relative certainty that I had just broken my foot. However, I'm an idiot, and I just kept going. So I finished my run, and of course, completely disregarded the pain in my foot, put on my cycling shoes, got on my bike, and took off. And finished my bike, and got back to my vehicle, and loaded the bike up, and got in, and got my protein drink and recovery drink, and started heading home. And this was, I'll say early afternoon. Was, I usually got those started before noon, so it might not have even been noon yet. And came home and just went on about my day, kind of limping around the house. Never took my socks off or my sleeves off, and just tried to ignore it as best I could. And that evening, about sometime between 7:30 and 8, getting ready to wind down the day and go to bed, I took my shoes and socks and sleeves off, and my foot started growing, and it was black and blue and brown and getting blacker and bluer and browner. And I went to MD 360. I'm not really sure why, because I did know, and in fact it was broken. However, in my brain I thought, hey, this is not the be all end all. I still have at that point probably I don't know, plenty of time, 6 to 8 weeks. A 6-week recovery would still give me another 6 to 8, if not more, weeks to prepare for this race. So I went to the doctor. They, looking at the x-rays, referred me to Steadman Hawkins, which is an orthopedic clinic within our hospital system. And they did what you would expect them to do. They x-rayed it, they examined it, they put me in a boot and crutches, and said see you in 4 to 6 weeks. So I went back, little to no progress. They used a device, I don't remember exactly what it was called. It used ultrasound that was supposed to stimulate bone growth. Used that for their prescribed time. I don't remember how long. That didn't help either. There was no indication that the bones were trying to grow back together. So in March, they decided that I needed to have a plate and 5 screws added to the 4th metatarsal of my right foot. Not exactly what I wanted to hear at that point. I'd already missed the race. Now it looked like I was probably going to miss the race season. And in fact, I did. And I spent 10 months, all told, in a boot and crutches, which led to all kinds of other issues. If you've never used a walking boot and or crutches, especially when you have bad shoulders, crutches aren't your friend. And a walking boot isn't the friend of your lower back and your hips and your knees, because you're walking crooked for, usually 4 to 6 weeks, not 10 months. Anyway, long story short, I guess, or long story longer. Turns out, after the I'm going to say third surgery on my feet, and having the doctor say, there's only one thing I can really think we could do, and that's restructure the bones of your feet. How the hell miserable does that sound? I have an abnormal bone structure in my feet. I am not naive. I am not delusional. And I asked, hey, is this my weight? Is this diabetes? And they said no. It's genetics, and it's something that just got worse with age. Because it happened when I was significantly lighter than I ever was at my heaviest. And you would think that being 425 pounds would be hazardous to your feet. And it wasn't. I mean, it was in different ways, but nothing like this. So, ended up, the same areas of both feet now have plates and screws. At one point, they put a long screw that looks just like about a 2-inch wood screw into my right foot. Left it there for 4 or 5 months, and then decided that it didn't need or shouldn't stay there, and so they took it back out. At one point, one of the plates that broke, actually the first plate that they put in, the one in my right foot, the plate broke, and they decided they needed to replace that. So that's the fun I've had, I guess. I have plates and screws in both feet. The last surgery was actually the removal of the right screw from my right foot. Yeah, the screw from my right foot. And I decided then that I have become pretty good at knowing when I have a break in there, in those metatarsals. Those are the long bones that kind of run through the center of your feet. And when I have one of those, I know that usually within 2 weeks, I can tolerate how it feels and kind of get back to normal behavior. Now, normal behavior for me no longer includes running. I'm not an idiot. I mean, I am, but I'm not that much of an idiot. That running is out of the question. However, in the past 8 months or so, I have been walking for exercise. And there's some discomfort from time to time, and there's times where I think, I know what that feels like. And yeah, in fact, last August, almost this time a year ago, I broke it. And that was the first time that I decided I got to go back to the doctor because this one is worse than normal. And it wasn't, other than the fact that it was right in the same area as an existing plate. And so I just wanted them to check it out. The current issue I'm dealing with is in that same area. There is swelling. There is some discoloration. But I'm getting there. I'm not 100%. I have not been able to walk. Actually, I walked 3 days about 2 weeks ago. 3 days in a row at a significantly shorter distance than I had been walking. And that third day, it was kind of like, this is not working. It was actually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I worked Friday. I'm on my feet more when I'm working. And I realized this is a bad trend here. So, haven't been walking, which is fine. It's fine. I enjoy it. I'll get back to it sooner or later. In the meantime, I'm rowing more, which I had kind of started to not row as much while I was walking. And rowing is enjoyable to me. It's enjoyable in different ways for different reasons, but I do enjoy walking and rowing. And if I could ever get myself to spend equal amounts of time on both, I'd be doing pretty good. But anyway, that's a very short or a very succinct history of my feet and all the fun I've had with them since October of 2012, almost 10 years. 5 surgeries in about just over 5 years, and throw in a shoulder surgery before and after, or during actually. I was actually getting ready for a third shoulder surgery, second on my right arm, right shoulder, when I broke both feet at the same time. That's what led to the screw in the right foot and the plate in the left. And the orthopedic doctor at the same clinic, but the one who had handled my shoulders, said, I'm not doing anything with your shoulders until your feet are better. And at that point I said, well, I guess I'll never see you again, because these feet are never getting better. Doable, better I guess is correct terminology, but they're never going to be what they should be or what they had been. I'm 51 years old and I'm still significantly overweight, but I'm active and my feet pay the price, I guess, sometimes. And I guess it's, I know I've had the thought expressed to me, why do you do this to yourself? So here's the best answer I can give you. Boy, I'm sweating a lot. It's warm today. My answer to that is when somebody in maybe nicer way says, why the hell do you keep doing this to yourself? So if the exercise bothers my foot or feet or shoulders, but shoulders are pretty good. They hang in there most of the time. It's my feet that bail me out. If I can get a good workout in, and the only thing that really suffers is my feet, I have to look at all the other areas that benefit from that exercise. And there's a lot of benefit to exercise, more than just sometimes the localized pain that you might feel because of the exercise. Muscle pain is a good thing. Joint pain, not so much. Bone pain, not at all. So you weigh the good and the bad. I'll talk more about that later. But you can make the connections for yourself. Hey, I'm exercising to make my body healthy. If you're exercising to lose weight, I should be all the proof you need that that's not the way to do it. Exercise is not the way to lose weight. It definitely helps. It definitely influences the kind of weight you lose. It will burn a little more fat. If you're gaining muscle, you're burning fat. It's in the kitchen. So, what other benefits are you getting from exercise? Besides the fact that you're getting stronger, you're lowering your blood pressure, you're lowering your cholesterol, you're lowering your blood sugar, you are reducing stress, you're giving yourself some mental clarity, you're giving yourself functional strength, you're giving yourself what your body needs to live your life and do it for as long as you possibly can. So, sorry for the length of this video. I know this is way longer than I think anything else I've done. I probably won't bother you with many other videos today, because at this point my day's getting shorter and shorter and I don't have a whole lot of time. But I wanted to take this time to kind of give you a background on my feet and keep you up to date on what's going on. Day 2 of the rowing challenge. And alright, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. So I got my 60-pound kettlebell delivered today, and I'm a little nervous to swing it, to be honest. I'll show you some video of my squats and deadlifts, but I think I'm going to keep this new 60-pound swing to myself. You're welcome.
Alright, so I'm driving home, and I thought I would just tackle one a little bit too earlier. Kind of had some muscular tweaks during my workout that I'm probably going to pay for beyond the normal DOMs of first squat and deadlift session in about 3 weeks. I wanted to advocate for massage and stretch therapy. Find someone well qualified, however you classify well qualified, in both. Massage is great. Stretch is great. When you have someone that can do both and do them well, it's worth it. Yeah. So, anyway, that's all, and I am sure you're going to hear more about this muscle tweak of mine in days to come. Have fun.